All right.
Yep. So you see that as soon as the engine catches, you gotta go mix it full rich.
Yeah, go full rich.
And then we're looking to idle at about 1,000 RPM.
Avionics coming on.
Yep. First thing you want to check is your oil pressure and vacuum. They're both in the green, so we're good there. You can turn on your ATC information feed this time.
Alright. Danbury ground, November 430 Echo Papa at executive taxi takeoff with Golf.
430 Echo Papa, Danbury ground, taxi to runway 26 via Charlie, cross runway 35.
26 via Charlie, cross 35, 0 Echo Papa.
Alright, good. So a little bit of power. There's a rut in the ground here, so we just want to be able to get the nose wheel out of it, so you have to give it a little bit of extra power to get it out of here. And the first thing we do when we leave the chocks is check our brakes. Okay, you can bring the power back now. Power back to like 1,000. Below 1,000. Remember, this ramp goes downhill, so we speed up pretty quickly here.
Pilatus 26 Victor, traffic is a Skyline taking the runway for departure.
All right.
Atlanta runway 26
so pre-taxi, seatbelt, shoulder harnesses, flaps up, heat vent, avionics on, transponder is on standby. We always put that on ALT, so there's your transponder right there. Once you set it to 1200 or VFR, so press the VFR button, you can press the VFR button, that'll work right there.
Oh, right there. Thanks.
That'll set it to 1200. ATIS, AWAS, we got all that. Altimeter set, radio set, taxi light is on. Brakes test, attitude indicator test, turn coordinator, we tested that on the way out, HI to compass. Run up, so brakes are set, the fuel selector valve is on both. Once you set the trim for takeoff, 1800 on throttle. Keep going. Alright, there's 1800. Do a mag check, 2 clicks to the left. 1, 2. Hang on. Did you go 2 clicks to the left?
Yep, that's 2 to the left.
Alright, so that's less than 120, 150 drop. Go back to both. Now 1 click to the left mag. Less than 150 drop back to both. Less than the 50 RPM difference between the two. Alright, so now at this point check your engine instruments. Make sure they're all in the green. Fuel flow, temperature, pressure, vacuum, and the ammeter zero charging. Alright, so throttle could go back to 1,000. That should be between 575 and 675 in that ballpark. Throttle's all the way back to idle.
Pilatus 326 Victor, where do you park?
Alright, now we're going to lean out the mixture. We're looking for a slight rise in the RPMs. Alright, we're good to go. You can switch to tower. Tower frequency is 119.4, and once you tell them Danbury Tower, Cessna 430 Papa is ready for takeoff, northeast departure.
Danbury Tower, number 430 Echo Papa, ready for departure, northeast.
Cessna 430 Echo Papa, Danbury Tower, runway 26, clear for takeoff, proceed on course.
Proceed on course, runway 26, clear for takeoff, 0 Echo Papa.
Alright, here we go. So that brake in, yeah, there we go. Smoothly apply the power, count off 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000.
And full power.
Alright, so I'm checking my gauges. They are all in the green. My airspeed's coming
50,
alive.
55 and 60. Rotate.
Okay, you can rotate. Rotate. There we go. And we're going to climb out at 74 knots. And remember, right rudder to stay coordinated here. We do have some wind coming out of the northwest, so a slight crab to the right. As soon as we get to 1200, we're going to turn right to a heading of 050. Remember, stay on course. Good. You got 260 staying on the extended runway center line. But see how we veered off? Look behind you. You want to sort of be on the center
Alright,
line.
we're making a turn to 05.
Yep. You go ahead and make the turn now. And keep your climb out. That's 74 knots. Remember to use right rudder. Keep that ball centered, right? There you go. Watch your pitch.
Reline refueler, cross runway 26 at Alpha 5, proceed Charlie to Westcon.
As far as your level off goes, that you also want to lead, right? So normally what we do is we look at our climb rate. So we're doing about 600 feet per minute here, give or take a little bit. So you want to start your level off 60 feet prior to your altitude, or 10% of what your climb rate is, right?
Yeah, alright.
So let's say, for argument's sake, we're at 500 feet a minute. At 3450 is when you want to start your level off, right? So then you slowly start level off the airplane. There are a couple more checklists, right? We do have a climb checklist. So climb checklist says you need to climb out between 70 and 85 knots, which we're doing. Power set to full power, mixture is full rich. Instruments, we check those, monitor those, just make sure everything looks okay there. Taxi landing light can come off, so turn your landing light off. And the other part of it's flight plan open, but we're not on a flight plan today, so. Alright, so now you got to 3,500 feet. We're going to level off the airplane. And there's a cruise checklist, right? So your power comes back. Bring your power back to about 2,400, but you have to pitch the nose down, let the RPM sort of catch up. Level flight pitch attitude. Mixture, anything above 3,000 feet normally, we lean out the mixture. And I'll show you how to do that. There's a little thing over here. We keep it right around here, and then we'll lean out the mixture so that that white arrow is in line with the mark right there for the EGT. All right, you see how that arrow moved up, so it's kind of in sync with what the EGT gauge is showing us?
Little high.
All right, so cruise checklist. Power came back. We're at 2,500. We're good there. Mixture is leaned out the way it should be. Instruments. Now, one thing you always want to check is your heading indicator. Reset it to the mag compass and straight level unaccelerated flight. The mag compass is accurate. What are we showing? We're showing about 015.
It should be 05, right?
Yeah, let's go heading of 050. Just let's go wings level here for a second, because I think the heading indicator may be off by a little bit. We got 015, so we're off by about 20 on this, right? So press it in, turn it to the right. Oh, I'm sorry, no, it's 045. Turn it to the left. Turn it to the left. Turn that knob to the left. Press it in, turn it to the left. That's to the right.
To the right.
There you go. All right, 045. So we're matched up now.
Experimental 1643 Lima Danbury ground, taxi to runway 26 via Delta and Alpha.
And we just got to watch our airspeed. See that yellow arc? That's sort of the caution range. So just keep that power at 25. All right, tell you what. Why don't you give me a climbing left turn. We'll go up to a higher altitude here. Let's go up to 4,500.
Cessna 320 Victor Mike,
head westbound.
taxi to runway 26 via Delta and Alpha.
So anytime you're in a climb, you go mixture full rich. Just press the button in, the knob in, and push it full in. And full power. Pitch the nose up. Full power. You're not at full power.
Danbury Tower, Piper Hero 8733 Echo.
And pitch nose up, right? Want a nice 500 foot
Piper Arrow 33 Echo, go ahead.
We are about 10 miles to the northwest. Want to transition over to Oxford for your area.
You got to keep that climb rate up, right? So adjust your pitch.
We're
We're pitched the level flight before, so Just shut that off for now. And roll out on a heading of west.
Try to not fully rely on the instruments, but not doing that.
Nope, you're definitely not supposed to rely on the instruments. You're VFR, so it's visual flight rules. However, there's nothing wrong with glancing at the instruments just to confirm that what it is that you're doing matches up with the instruments. So. Like initially, you know, you haven't seen, you don't know what the sight picture is like, so you're kind of using those instruments to help gauge what that sight picture should be like.
Yep.
And then remember, you roll out on headings, half of what your bank angle is. Okay, so now you can bring back your power now. But first you got to go wings level, right? Adjust the airplane for a level pitch attitude, then adjust your power setting. Lean out your mixture. Look at that gauge over there. That white line come up right there to the EGT mark.
Oh yeah, okay.
So now it's properly leaned. And now adjust your trim, right? So you're not fighting the controls.
It does veer to the right a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, all of these may have a little bit of, it could be the rudder trim tab is offset somehow. I mean, we can't actually do anything about that except physically bend it. Now look at your sight picture, right? Your sight picture is that showing now you're in straight and level flight, right? This is straight and level flight, about 4 finger widths from the horizon. I'll look out at each wingtip, and I should have the same distance from the horizon on either side there as well. And then I'll double check my instruments, right? See what's going on there. I see a little creep on my altimeter, and I see a climb rate on my vertical speed indicator. All right, so why don't you give me a right turn, make a right level turn, try and stay at around 4,700 feet here. And I want you to roll out on a heading of north. Now remember what I told you, it's going to be about half of what your bank angle is. So if you got a 20-degree bank angle in there, you want to roll out 10 degrees prior to your heading.
Okay.
Rudder inputs, keep that ball centered. This is what you're looking for in your sight picture in a turn, right? In a 20-degree bank turn, you're looking for a sort of a slice of the pie from your dashboard to the horizon. And then cross-check your instruments, see what's going on there as well. There you go.
Oh yeah, I'm down.
All right, so let's work on a descent here. Hopefully it doesn't take us in the clouds. I want you to give me a descending left turn, go down to an altitude of 3,500 and a heading of north. So anytime you descend, right, there's a descent checklist, mixture goes full rich, fuel selector valve both, altimeter set, and bring your power back to about 1900. Power back to, that goes back to 1900. 1900. Keep bringing it back. And then pitch nose down for a descent, right? We'll keep turning to a heading of west on the descent. We're going down to 3,500.
Okay.
Now look at your power. Your power is still too high because that's why we're in the yellow arc there, right? So I say you got to, anytime you're descending, you got to lower that power. All right, so we're on a heading of west. Remember, 10% of what your climb or descent rate is, right? So we're descending at a rate of 800 feet per minute. You want to start your level off on the descent 80 feet above what your assigned altitude is. So we should have started our level off at about 3580.
Okay.
Look at that. It's nice when you adjust the trim, right? Because just a very light touch, the airplane just kind of flying
But it's a lot easier.
Oh, yeah. That's why I kind of stressed that right at the beginning. Grip and rudder. Rudder's the other key too, right? You got to stay coordinated in your turn.
Yeah, I'm not used to it yet.
Now we're looking for the right right pitch attitude, right? We always try to climb at best rate of climb. Best rate of climb is 79 knots in this airplane. And now you're going to trim for that. Yeah, you're right on 79 knots. And what that does, it gets us to our altitude in the quickest period of time. That's always the goal.
So we just keep pitching up until we hit 79 knots?
Exactly.
Okay. That makes sense.
You're pitching for airspeed and power for altitude.
I was thinking more bring the speed back until we hit 79, but it makes more sense to pitch for altitude.
Yep. All right, there's your altitude, 4,200.
Bring the power back, level off?
Yep. As soon as you level off, then you bring your power back.
Okay.
Now when you're climbing, the RPMs are going to be a little bit lower because of the angle of the propeller blades relative to the wind. You'll see it sort of catches up in level flight, and that's why the RPMs all of a sudden will catch up. So that's why you want to level off first. All right, let's do a little slow flight here, just to kind of introduce you to what the, again, I was stressing rudder earlier, and I wanted to get you familiarized with that sooner rather than later. So let's go ahead and bring your power back to about 1900. Keep it coming back. Looking to get into the white arc here.
Alright, that's about 1900.
Yep, and then maintain your altitude. Remember, when you reduce your airspeed, you got to increase your pitch to maintain straight and level flight.
You end up trimming it just right, so you...
And we're in the white arc now. Well, let's see, trimming it just right for level flight is going to be, remember, we reduced our airspeed, so your level flight picture looks a little bit different at this airspeed than it does at a higher airspeed. Exactly.
Okay, yeah.
All right, so give me flaps. You can put all your flaps in.
All of them, 40?
Yeah, we'll do full 40.
Well, 30, yeah.
And now we're going to have you do a little bit of low flying here. This is where you really feel the the effects of rudder and turn to stay coordinated. Believe it or not, this is level flight here in slow flight.
It feels like we're that, yeah.
High power setting, but a high pitch. But you see, altimeter stabilized, your VSI showing 0. We're actually in level flight here, believe it or not. A lot of right rudder. See how that ball stays outside the box? Really jam on the right rudder to get it turning. In slow flight.
To the east, you said?
No, we're going south.
Okay.
No more than 10 degrees of bank, though.
That's a lot more difficult.
Step on that right rudder. Really put in the right rudder. See, you're still uncoordinated here. Now, look how much on it. That's me stepping on it, so I want you to step on it. That's the way you do it. We have to start sort of heading back here. So, all right. Cool. I think you got the idea of slow flight. I'm going to bring the flaps up here. And once you head to a heading of 240, and you can descend down to, let's go down to 2,500 feet. Let's see what the ATC information is here.
2000. Temperature 282.23. Altimeter 29906. Approach and use, visual approach. Landing and departing, runway 26. Notices to airmen. Aircraft using the localizer rate approach must be GPS equipped. The VOR portion of the VOR Alpha, GPS Alpha, is unusable.
Power around 1900.
The area of Martha's
there you go, that's for descent rate.
Information, contact flight service. Use caution for birds and wildlife in and around the airport. Advice on initial contact. You have information, golf.
Still golf.
Danbury Tower 430, Echo Pop, 12 miles to the northeast, inbound landing with golf.
Danbury Tower Cessna 430, Echo Papa is 10 to the northeast, inbound landing golf.
430 Echo Papa checking in for a second time.
We got you now, we just had the volume on low. 0 Echo Papa.
No, 4 Echo Papa, I was not calling you. I was 0 Echo Papa. Okay, I asked you to report a 3 mile straight in final.
3 miles straight in, final for 26, 0 Echo Papa.
I didn't hear him there. His push to talk didn't activate or something. Did you hear him?
Yeah, what happened was the volume was on low from earlier, so.
Oh, okay.
Watch your altitude, we're descending down 2,000. I don't want to go any more than 2,000 here. Alright, so we got the ATC information. He cleared us for a 3 mile final to runway 26. There is a descent checklist that we go through. We're at 2,200, so We're not in a position to really descend here, so. However, if we go through our checklist procedure, the mixture is rich, the fuel selector is going to be on both. ATIS we picked up, altimeter set, the information is still Gulf, so we don't need to change that. And our instruments, we don't need to change that as well because the pressure has not changed because we still have the same information.
Cessna 4 Echo Papa, the company Cessna won't be a factory turning final.
Thank you very much, for appreciate it.
Cessna 0 Echo Papa, you're clear to land on runway 26, wind 300 at 8.
Clear to land 260.
Clear to land 260, Papa.
Alright, good. Alright, you can start your turn to final now. And let's get ourselves in the white arc of the flap operating range so we can at least bring in the first 10 degrees of flaps. So let's level off here. Want to go all the way to, remember we got to go below 110, we could do the first 10 degrees of flaps. So go ahead and lower the first 10 degrees of flaps. Our goal here is all about aim, point, and airspeed. We're aiming the airplane at the numbers for the runway.
Tower 525 Tango is ready.
Alright, there's
for,
85 knots, so why don't you go ahead and put the next 10 degrees of flaps in.
It's so much easier to see the runway in real life than it is in a...
Yeah,
Like, you're on a left base, I have to pause it sometimes because it's like, everything is like, you can't tell.
Yeah, I don't particularly care for sims, to be honest with you. I mean, they're good for certain things. Watch the nose down.
Danbury, tell you loud and clear. Hold short of runway 26 for landing traffic.
Hold the wheel steady here. You don't want to be shaking it around, right? So.
Control left at the Danbury ATC.
Now on final.
Correction, change the hotel.
On final, you're using a lot more rudder than you are ailerons. You sort of want to make minor corrections using your rudder pedals. Now, the rule of thumb for me is, you know, anytime you have winds that exceed about 10 knots or so, we stick to 20 degrees of flaps. Anything under that, we go full flaps. Gusting, I think gusts are up to 15 knots, so we're going to stick with our 20 degrees of flaps here. Looking at what the wind direction is coming from. Looks like it's coming from the southwest, actually, so we're going to have to hold a little bit of aileron into the wind. Power comes out here completely. Look down the end of the runway. Look at that, we barely felt touching, right? Now you want to keep the back pressure in.
This is 0 Echo Papa, turn left at Charlie 3, and you go to executive?
Hey, Frem.
This is 0 Echo Papa, taxi to the ramp via Charlie with me.
Okay, you got it.
Charlie with you, 0 Papa.
Alright, so for the shutdown, avionics master comes off, strobes off. You can leave the beacon on until we shut it. Mixture control, pull it all the way out. All the way out. There you go. Magnetos, turn it off, pull the key out, yep. And the master switch is the last thing on the list.
Beacon off?
You can leave the beacon on because it just gets people into the habit that it's automatically on, you know.
Yeah.
They should be on.
Ooh, that turbulence at the end kind of got me.
Yeah, it was a little bouncy there at the end.
Yeah.
It's going to be worse later in the day, so.
I just need to work on, you know, making sure I can keep it level and rudder.
Yep, the rudder input, you know, my two things I would say to you is just, you know, focus on making sure you know which is left and right on the ground while we're taxiing, and then just, you know, again, you want to keep this sort of smooth. You know, if you're going to bank in one direction, you don't want to sort of be moving it back and forth like this, Theo. I noticed. I don't know. Maybe, you know, you're probably used to the simulator where you have to do a lot of this, but the airplane's not like that. It will actually react to your inputs.